all of us will reach a crossroads in life, a decision that has to be made. Some can be small and insignificant. Others seem like they could shape the course of our entire lives. How can we know the will of God? How can we correctly choose the path He has set out for us? And what if we make the wrong decision? We spend sleepless nights and days filled with anxiety when we place these burdens upon ourselves. Often we become isolated, feeling completely alone in finding the right answer. Sometimes we're tempted to rush into a decision. Other times we'd rather delay indefinitely. But for those who call Him Father, for those who believe in the power of His name, He provides everything we need to follow His will. He gives us His Word as a compass and inspiration. Those who live according to Scripture will always follow in His footsteps. He blesses us with wise counsel through His church and the leaders He has set in place. He hears our every prayer, granting peace and wisdom to those who ask. His very Spirit dwells in us, a still small voice that guides from within our hearts. And in His perfect timing, He will open doors. He will clear the way forward. And no matter the path you choose, you are never alone. He will walk beside you and enfold you with His love, from now until the end of eternity. So trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight.
So let me ask you guys a question. Who is in here has ran from something sometime in their life?
Amen.
Well, amen, amen. I'm going to be going into 1 Kings chapter 19 and give you a little backstory. Ahab was talking to his wife. Does anybody know his wife's name?
Jesse.
Jesse. Does anybody know for real? It's Jezebel. He done nicknamed her, dear Lord. So Ahab's in here talking to Jezebel, which I'm going to tell you, Jezebel is she a character. Jezebel, she still lingers around now and there. I'm just going to say that. I'm ready to punch Jezebel in the face sometimes, amen. Whew. Dear Lord in heaven. Anyway, let's move on. Ahab was sitting there talking to his wife, and he was telling her everything that Elijah had just done. He was telling her how Elijah had just killed all their prophets. If I remember correctly, 400 prophets, wasn't it? A little over 400. I think it was 400. Killed 400 prophets with sword.
Come on.
So Jezebel decided, you know what? She does what any... Ooh, I'm going to get in trouble for this. She does what any woman mad does. No, she don't. Dear Lord in heaven. Okay, she did what any person would do, honest to God. She got in her flesh and she wrote a letter. See, back then they didn't have phones. She couldn't text him and be like, "Hey, fool, we about to handle business. Meet me at IGA after." No, you welcome, Jane. But she decided to write a letter. And in her letter she said, "May the gods deal with me, be it ever so severely, if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like that of one of them." In other words, she was saying, if by tomorrow I haven't killed you, may the gods take it out on me, because I'm going to kill you, fool. That's really, honest to God, she was coming after him. So Elijah decides to do the number one thing every person does. He prayed. No. He fasted. No. He worshiped God? No. He didn't do none of that stuff. He dipped. He dipped out. He ran. He ran like somebody was chasing. Never mind. If you were to pull up verse 8 for me, brother. So he got up and ate and drank. Strengthened by the food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Horeb, the mountain of God. Next verse. There he went into a cave and spent the night. And the word of the Lord came to him. What are you doing here, Elijah? Next verse. He replied, I've been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, put your prophets to death with the sword, and I'm the only one that's left. And now they're trying to kill me. The Lord said, go out and stand on this mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by. Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart, shattered the rocks before the Lord, but the Lord was not in the wind. The Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. Whew. And after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he pulled his cloak over his face, went out and stood at the mountain of the cave, or the mouth of the cave, and then a voice said to him, what are you doing here, Elijah? Next verse. He replied, I've been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, put your prophets to death with a sword. I'm the only one left, and now they're trying to kill me too. The Lord said to him, go back. I want y'all to understand something. Elijah is a prophet's prophet. Elijah is the junk. When he speaks, it happens.
That's right.
He got into a confrontation with Ahab, and if I remember correctly, he said, I'm going to hold off the rain. The rain didn't fall. The rain didn't fall. The rain didn't fall until he spoke it. He's also, and I don't want to get in trouble for this, but I honest to God see Elijah being a little gangster in the midst of everything that's going on. Because, oh, dear Pastor Brian, how in the world can you sit there and say somebody's gangster? It's in the Bible. Okay, here's why I say he's gangster. Elijah, before all this, got into a confrontation with these 400 prophets of Baal. And they decided they were going to build altars and say whose God is real. So what's Elijah do? He gets over there and he says, okay, build my altar and da-da-da-da-da. And he looks over there and he says, I'll let y'all go first. Y'all, if they can call down fire from heaven and your God consumes this altar, then you got the God, you got the G-O-D, you got the Alpha, the Omega, you got it. But if he doesn't do it, and mine does it, then mine's the God, the G-O-D. The Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the end. They start doing their little rituals. Elijah's over there just kind of watching them. I can see him too. I'm weird. I picture this in my head. He's over there eating an apple. Just watching them. They over there cutting themselves. They over there, oh, no, and all this.
Come on.
And then he starts mocking them. Hey, maybe he ain't shouting loud enough. Hey, maybe he's asleep. Maybe your God's asleep. Maybe that's what's going on. And then he takes it up a notch. Elijah goes and tells him, hey, go get some water and go dump it on my wood. Go dump it on my altars, on my stone, on that wood, all that stuff. Go dump it on there. Just drown it. He prays, the fire comes down, consumes the wood, consumes the water, the stones, even scorches the earth. All of a sudden, everybody, all them prophets looked over there. They knew automatically that he was God. They automatically knew Elijah's God was God.
Amen.
So they began to worship. And then Elijah said, kill them all. They turned around, started to run. They got chased down. Whole 9 yards. You're welcome. They got chased down, murdered on the spot. Elijah goes about his business. And that's when everything happens with Ahab. sends this conversation with his wife, and then she sends this letter and all this other stuff to go attack him and pretty much tell him, you're dead, I'm killing you. But what's funny about all this is, in the midst of his greatest victory, because 400 prophets, shaming them, showing them up real quick like, that's a victory, son.
Amen. That's right.
Elijah just came through this huge victory, showed up and showed out. And now he's running from Jezebel. From his greatest victory to his greatest defeat. Right here. He just killed 400 prophets. He just made fun of Baal himself. And now he's running.
Come on.
Now the pictures, Elijah's running for his life, just came out of all this huge victory. Now he's running scared. And my question is, and it kept pondering me, it kept hitting me yesterday. How the heck did you just come from this great victory and now you're running? You were running to your life in the midst of this victory. Now you're running from your life. It just don't make sense to me. That's exactly what I realized. The only way this can happen is Jezebel spoke to that thing inside of him that had never been addressed before.
Come on.
She spoke to something inside of him that had never been talked about. It was that thing that he kept bottled up, that thing that he kept hidden.
That's right.
That thing that he didn't want anybody else to know about. She spoke to it. She spoke to his fear. You can't have great victory, or you can have great victory, but still have great insecurities too.
That's right.
Oh, him, yeah. He's always going to be that way. He's never going to change. Oh, yeah, he got saved this week, but next week he's going to be, off doing something else. He's going to be back in that addiction again. He's going to be back off doing this with God knows who. And all. That's the problem. Our whole lives we're being told we're not going to amount to nothing.
Amen.
When I was growing up, I was told that I would never amount to nothing. I was told that I was a waste of air. I had a brutal upbringing. Then everything changed. In the midst of it, was almost like a light switch got turned on. Everything changed. It was pretty much me and my sister after that. Had to take care of everything that was going on in the house. Had to take care of her. Had to make sure the chores were done. Make sure the food was cooked and all that good stuff. And the whole time I'm sitting here listening, you're never going to amount to nothing. You're never going to be nothing. Ever. And then you turn around and when you get older and you get married, man, life's changed. Everything's about to be better. And that enemy gets in your ear and he starts whispering, you're going to be just like your daddy was.
Come on.
You're going to be just like the enemies.
Come on.
You're going to be just like the one that sat there and told you that you're not going to be worth it. You're going to be sitting there just like him.
The devil is a lie.
Heck, I was told when I first got involved in ministry, went and got my credentials, was sat there and told by the pastor that I was sitting underneath before, I'll just say it that way, that, man, you won't last 6 months. Sat there and told me that I wouldn't last the ministry. He said, you can't handle it. It's too hard. You'll fail. About a year later, I was resigning from my position underneath him, cutting off the lights in the sanctuary for him after a Wednesday night service. Had just had an awesome college group meeting because we started a college group back then, and we were running 50 that night. Walked in and told him, man, after Christmas, I'm stepping down. I feel like God's calling me somewhere else. He literally sat in there while I was cutting off the lights and cussed me out and told me how horrible I was. Told me that me and my wife and kids can go to grandma's house and everything else. Pretty much told me how worthless we were. This is a man of God. Right? Right? Yeah. Whew, come on. Yeah, amen. Self-spoken. Well, heck, even, and I'm going to say this, and I don't want to offend nobody, but you know what? Offense is okay, because sometimes we need to get stepped on a little bit.
That's right.
When I came here to Northwoods, first thing that was told to me, not by anybody here, first thing that was told to me was, hey, you going to be one of them revolving pastors too? Only last there for 2 years and that's it?
That's right.
I'm just being honest. Dear Lord, y'all being mean right now, dear Lord. But I can honestly say right now, through the power of God, that's not going to happen.
Come on. Right. Amen.
First off, we got some pastors that's already beat the 2-year mark. Amen. Amen. Second off, me and Kenny ain't got no plans to go nowhere anytime soon. So we rooting Heather. So yeah, we ain't going nowhere. Y'all ain't got nothing to worry about. But it's just funny because, man, if I listened to everything that everybody told me before I got here, I wouldn't have came here.
That's right.
Because I was told, don't go there. Because first off, Thomasville is expensive, which I am going to be honest, they were telling the truth there. Thomasville is expensive. Man, do y'all know how much rent costs in Thomasville? Dear Lord. God bless y'all. If y'all got a free home, holla at me. I'll holla at you back. Dear Lord, moved over here looking for a house for a year, and dear Lord, if it wasn't $1,300 for a rent, and I was like, hey, gosh.
For a dog.
And then we go to Pelham. Yeah, that was for a shed, by the way. Then we go to Pelham, and Pelham's got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And I was like, heck yeah, for $650 a month, heck yeah. Yeah, I got Lord, anyway. But it was so amazing to me because before we got here, we heard so much stuff. But I'm going to be honest with you. I learned a long time ago you can't listen to what everybody says.
That's right.
Because half the junk that the people have told me about some of y'all, dear Lord. You want me to tell you? And I'm going to be honest with you, I already know half of y'all are here. Y'all have no idea my past. That's why it's so beautiful. But y'all have no idea where I came from and that stuff. But it's amazing to me how somebody can, I know him. I know what he's been through. I remember how he handled this situation. I remember how he did that. I remember how he talked to so-and-so. I remember what he looked like in high school. First off, I ain't look like this in high school. Timothy, stand up. I ain't look like that either. I love messing with you, Timothy. I'm sorry.
Man, I ain't even back for a week.
Yeah, I had my license in high school. Oh, I didn't mean to. For y'all that don't know, Timothy's still trying to get his license. That is love, man. I'm just sharing the love right here, man.
I thought we was cool, right?
We are.
He's been around the world. He's still his life.
He's really, think about this though. Who's really smarter here? Him or me? Because he don't have a license, so people have to chauffeur her around. Okay? And on top of that, chauffeur him around? Well, y'all know what I meant. But no, he's smarter because now he ain't got to spend his money in gas. And every time somebody goes to the stove, hey, get me something. Keep my money in my back pocket. So, it's smarter.
That's why he walked Walgreens last night.
We came up here last night. I'm getting completely off topic. We came up here last night, me and Candy were like, we're going to clean off the bus a little bit and see if we can find some little minor problems here and there. We came up here, start cleaning it out, and all of a sudden I see Timothy and Jaden walk by me. And I'm like, where y'all going? Because we're right here outside. They just keep walking. And I said, where y'all going? Jay turns around and goes, we going to Walgreens, we walking. And I'm like, okay. About an hour later, they get back. Literally an hour later, they get back. And Timothy's like, that's the fastest I've ever walked. But he had drinks in hand. And did you pay for it last night? No. Exactly. Getting back to my message. Anyway, I don't even know where I was. Okay. The 2-year mark, yeah, we were told not to come here because the 2-year mark. Hey, I remember when me and Candy first got married. The first time. That's a joke. We've only been married once, sorry. But when we got married, the night before we got married, one of my best men, his mom actually came up to me, and you know how the enemy always tries to get you when you're at your either right before the victory or right after the victory. I was about to marry the most beautiful woman in the world. I'm about to hit the victory. You know what I'm saying? Oh hush. I'm about to hit the victory though. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so she comes up to me and she says, "Hey, I got some bad news for you." I was like, "Does my suit not look good? Like, is my shoes not clean? What is it?" She goes, I got some really bad news to tell you. Last night, I was sitting around my kitchen table. Nobody else was in the house, so I said, "You know what? I'm going to do something. Surprise Brother Ryan," because she loved me. She went and read my tarot card reading. And she told me that me and Candy were only going to last 2 years. That we were doomed to be divorced by 2 years. Said that it was going to be a horrible marriage. Said that every time we turn around, it's going to be another problem after another problem after another problem. I looked dead at her and I said, ooh, I about said her name. I said, "I love you, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you, cards don't read my future.
That's right.
The only person that can determine my future is me. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you this too. The only other person that can determine my future is God.
That's right.
And ain't no devil in hell going to sit here and tell me otherwise."
Amen.
So, jumping ahead, we're celebrating 14 years this year. I ain't do all I need to clap. But we're celebrating 14 years this year. And I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes, you know how when you prove somebody wrong, you just want to kind of push on a little bit? Sometimes I want to get on there and just be like, "Hey, look at..." Anyway, I'm not. That's the petty side of me. So, anyway, Elijah's running for his life. Just had the greatest victory, and yet she spoke to his biggest insecurities. See, I was bad about hiding my insecurities, hiding the hurt that was on me. And you know how I would handle it? Y'all gonna laugh at me. I would eat. I would eat.
I guess that.
Why can we do that?
Ouch. Thanks, Bruce. do I look? Yeah. Anyway. But no, for real, that's the way I handled it. That's the way I handled my insecurities. When the enemy came at me, man, he's going to come after my wife and my kid. Man, I'm standing my ground. Devil, you better back off before I hit you with a spray bottle. I mean, come on. I got you, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I turn around, and every time he starts attacking my insecurities, instead of me standing here fighting, I would get weak.
Come on.
And I'd start eating a sandwich here and there. Because see, this is truth. This all happened in the middle of the night. He always attacked me when I was vulnerable.
That's right.
When you getting laying down about to go to sleep, that's when you're vulnerable.
That's right. Come on.
Because you're tired. Your flesh is weak.
Come on.
You're wanting to rest. And that's when he pops in your head.
That's right.
You don't believe me? When you lay down, you get right in the perfect spot. In that bed, you get all comfy. Got that comforter on you. Got the AC blowing just right. Got the right fan blowing so you can hear that noise. You laying there and all of a sudden it hits you. Crap, I gotta pee. You think I'm playing? That's the enemy. I'm telling you. No, that ain't the enemy. That's your bladder saying get up because we about to have an accident in this bed if you don't. But the enemy does play with your mind because as soon as you get laid down, you get comfortable. And almost every person here could probably raise their hand on this. But you start laying down, and all of a sudden you start replaying everything that happened today and start thinking about, oh, tomorrow's going to be exciting. We're going to Wild Adventures and something like that. And then all of a sudden that one situation pops in.
Come on.
And you're wanting to think about Wild Adventures, but that situation's still here.
That's right.
And it's staying on you. And it's staying on you. And it's staying on you. Yeah, that's the enemy. And see, what I would do was in the middle of the night, I'd get up because I couldn't sleep, insomniac, walking around. I didn't want to watch TV because My mom used to tell me a long time ago there ain't nothing good on TV after 2 o'clock, and that's the honest to God truth.
That's right.
So I'd get up, and I'd fix me a sandwich. And I'm going to tell you, I used to love Spam sandwiches. I didn't mean, dear Lord, stay over there, brother. Stay in your lane, brother. But man, I used to eat those sandwiches, and then anytime Candy cooked that dessert, good gosh, she used to, I'm going to brag on her for a second, but she used to cook this dessert. What was it? It was a cake. I don't like cakes, usually. But she made a cake, I can't remember what it was. I think it was a red velvet or something like that. She made it one time, and I'm going to tell you something. I sat there and ate on that thing. It was gone before the end of the night. But she cooked it Friday night, and it was gone by Saturday morning because I was up all night eating it. And then she fussed at me because we were supposed to save it for Sunday, somebody's party or something. I told her, I said, it's your fault, you should have made 2. But she didn't listen. Anyway, but I sat there and I'd sit there and eat and eat and eat. And then I started noticing something. See, y'all, first off, y'all be gentle, okay? Because I'm being real right now. You look at my legs, I look like I'm pretty healthy, you know what I'm saying? I got a great looking, I got runner's legs, you know? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, you start coming up, it's like, yay, the guy right here, he look like he in shape. Then you get about right here, and it's like, whoa, what that happened? See what had happened was, Sister Candy don't make some cake. Sister Chloe don't learn how to cook. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Chloe can throw down cooking too. Dear Lord, girl ain't helping. Anyway, but I noticed it started sticking right here. And then it started sticking right here and on the sides. My arms are good, you know what I'm saying? My legs, they good. My head, it's swollen. My head's just swollen. But all this swole up. And I'm like, what the heck? And then it dawned on me. See, when the enemy attacks, he don't go for the legs. He don't go for the arms. He goes for the internal organs. He goes for the deep stuff. He surrounds it. Because see, if he can't take me out fast, he's going to take me out slow. And everybody's like, oh, well, duh. No, this is why. Because what everybody thinks is healthy. What everybody thinks is healthy. The body that's supposed to be healthy. It starts killing itself from the inside. So when it dies, it sends a shockwave to everybody around it. When one person is up on that pedestal, you see them as a high and mighty person. That's a man of God right there. And one sin knocks them off of it. Sends shockwaves. I'm going to tell you now, don't put me on no pedestal. Don't put Pastor on no pedestal.
Come on.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like bragging about him because he's already got a big enough head. But honest to God, this man serves with humility.
That's right. Come on.
And it's humility that you haven't seen before. He's real. And I aspire to be that way.
Amen.
I want to be as real as possible. And I've been in churches before. I've done the religious thing. I'm telling you now, you ain't going to find a pastor like that everywhere.
Come on.
I'm telling you now, you're not going to find a pastor like that everywhere.
That's right.
Because most of them want to stand up here, all prim and proper, collect a paycheck, and go home.
Come on.
And I can be honest with you, he's not that way.
Amen.
I can honestly say I don't think anybody in this church is that way when it comes to our leadership.
Come on.
I better get off of that. Y'all ain't amen to me. So.
Struck a nerve.
But the enemy's sneaky and he's smart. He's conniving. Because he doesn't just do this to one person. He don't just attack one person in the middle of the night. He goes after groups. He goes after everybody. That's why he tries to get you in your feelings, and he tries to get you in your ear and start whispering stuff to you. They don't want you here. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to see you.
Come on.
They don't want to go out with you. They don't want to go do this with you. They don't want you here. They just want you to fill a seat. Now here's a question. About to get real. If at one point in your life here at Northwoods, if you've ever felt that way, I want you to raise your hand. Let's be honest. I'm serious, Arthur. Let's be real. Thank you. Put your hands down. The enemy is out to kill, steal, and destroy.
Amen.
I've always loved dissecting this verse, but he's roaming around like a lion, seeking whom he may devour.
That's right.
He can't be a lion, so he's roaming around like a lion. There's only one lion. It's the Lion of Judah.
Come on. Amen.
I'm not even going to preach on that. I'm going to go ahead and embarrass the enemy for a second. He's trying to separate us from our group.
Come on.
Because when you get separated from the group, you become vulnerable.
That's right.
See, when he gets in your ear and he starts whispering, he don't want you here. She don't want you here. They don't even include you. They don't even involve you. They don't do this. They don't do that. I love you. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. We got busy lives, amen.
Yeah.
Every person in this place, you have who has a job in here? Don't raise your hand to me. I gotta mess with you, I'm sorry. But for real, who else has jobs in here? How many of y'all are gone more than 40 hours a week? Put your hands down real quick. Can I ask this question? How many of y'all got family that's close by? Outside of your household, who's got family that's close by? Like in Thomasville, in Pelham, in Cairo, stuff like that. Yeah, within like a 15, 20 mile radius. Okay.
Oh, no, that's not
Does
far.
Chris count?
Yeah, well, you country bumpkins, so you out there in the woods, I got you. The reason I'm asking this is because I'm going to be straight up honest with y'all. When we first came here, the only people that we hung out with was Josh and Ashley. And it wasn't because that's the only people we wanted to hang out with, because I love them, but man, Josh stinks sometimes. Don't lift your arm because you're sweating like crazy, bro. But see, when we first got here, we didn't really have anybody. It took us time to even acclimate to somebody else. It really did. It took us time to start, because I'm going to be honest with you. I was hurt in my past. I was hurt bad. Somebody attacked me physically. Not physically, because I'll beat the mess out of them. But they attacked me emotionally. That's a better word for it. Step up, square up, you know. Anyway, but they attacked me spiritually. They attacked me emotionally. And man, they said some junk about me. And it destroyed me. Because man, I love these people. I was close to these people.
Come on.
And when I say that, I mean we broke bread together all the time.
That's right.
We were always hanging out with each other. Always doing stuff together. We planned vacations and did stuff with them. And then they turned around and they attacked me. So I'm not going to lie. When we first came here, I can say it this way. I had a wall up.
That's right. Come on.
And I slowly took bricks down. Candy's still got a couple bricks up.
Before her solid.
Yeah, she filled it up. But no, and it's because she was hurt.
That's right. Come on.
She was attacked just as much as I was, if not worse, because she's sitting over here saying, that's my man, you don't mess with him. And I'm over here saying, that's my girl, you don't mess with her. And the whole time we're sitting here trying to be defensive, but we got to do it the right way, because, man, if I say the wrong thing, somebody's going to sit there and twist my words, and all of a sudden, I ain't a man of God no more. In half those people's lives. I can no longer speak truth to them. Can I just be real? This is the weight of it.
Come on.
Because every time I post something on Facebook, I got to be careful. Is this going to offend somebody? I got to be careful. I can't get political because half the people in here like this, the other half like this. And if I do get political, guess what's going to happen? This half ain't going to listen to me no more. Bible says that I'm supposed to be all things for all men.
That's right.
So no, I don't share my political views with everybody. No, I don't share a bunch of the stories that I got, some of the hurts that I got, some of the pains I got. You know why? Because some people will run away. And I can't be all things for all men then. But I will tell you, it takes time. It takes patience. But anything that's worth having, this is something from my grandpa. Anything worth having is worth waiting for.
That's right.
And I wish our older generation would tell our younger generation this more and more and more.
That's right. Come on.
Anything worth having is worth waiting for. Some of y'all want degrees. Some of y'all, Chloe, you want to be a veterinarian, right? How long does it take you in school?
7 years.
In college, right?
Or more.
Yeah. My baby girl got her plan mapped out. Y'all don't know this. She gonna take care of daddy. You know what I'm saying? She already told me she's gonna buy me a brand new truck. Gonna give me a brand new house. Shh. Baby girl like busted here.
They're old, they will not depart.
Chloe.
Don't even try to lie.
She's grounded. Just saying. I better move on before my. Anyway, just digging that hole, son. But see, he attacks us when we get vulnerable, when we get weak, when we get off by ourselves. That's how one of the best messages I ever heard in my life was Jensen Franklin spoke on spiritual attacks, and he says one of the ways to know that you're under a spiritual attack is that you start getting separated from everybody else.
That's right.
You start getting to the point where you don't want to be around anybody else that's Christians. You don't want to be around your brothers in Christ. You don't want to be around your sisters in Christ, because every time you get around them, you get, they don't want me. They don't want me. I'm offended because they don't want this. They don't want that. You start walking away from it. And see, when that happens, the enemy gets a hold of you. And he starts pouring more and more stuff into you. Now look, they're moving on without you. They don't even need you. See, I told you they didn't need you. No. I'm going to be honest with you. One monkey don't stop the show here.
That's right.
And when I say that, I'm a monkey, that's a monkey, that's a monkey, they monk, every one of us. We all replaceable. And one of the verses I wanted to go into, but I decided not to, I can't remember the whole thing right now, but it even talks about don't miss the mark, because if you do, someone else is going to take the mantle.
That's right.
And in this story, the next part of that verse where it says go back, he actually keeps on going on, and he actually tells Elijah to go find Elisha and anoint him too. Because he was saying, if you're not going to carry this mantle, I'm going to give it to somebody else that will. We have all these moments where we have this great victory and then turn around and feel like we're about to run away and run to this cave. You know how many times we've left these services and everyone's saying, man, God did something amazing today. He showed up and he showed out. I needed that. And the whole time I'm smiling, shaking hands, and I'm getting in my truck and I'm like, this is the lowest I can ever be. I feel completely alone. I feel like a complete failure right now. I'm just going to be real.
We love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Just going to be real.
That's real.
We've gotten these spots where we sit here and we play church and we put the facade on, and I'm not saying don't smile through the storm, because we got to.
That's right.
I was telling somebody yesterday, stop looking at the negative in everything and start looking at the positive in everything. Because all it's doing is wearing on you, not nobody else.
Amen.
Elijah was just a man, a prophet, and a man, but sometimes he felt like neither one. And that's why he ran. Have you ever failed at your workplace? Have you ever failed at your friendships? Have you ever failed inside your marriage? and just felt like running was the only option?
Yeah.
Can we be real?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
He ran for 40 days and fell at the mouth of that cave when a voice came to him and said, "What are you doing here, Elijah? What are you doing here, Elijah?" You ever woke up somewhere and been like, "What the heck am I doing here?" Oh, I can't be rude.
Amen.
Okay. You ain't never been out with somebody, with a friend, with a best friend or something, and all of a sudden you had one too many. You did something you shouldn't have done, and you woke up the next morning, and the first thing you said is, "What am I doing here? What am I doing here?" Have you ever had that moment with one of your friends where y'all done got into something stupid? You got into a situation that you shouldn't have been in the first place, and you just realize one minute, why am I here? What am I doing? Let's go ahead and hit closer to home. You get that secret thing that nobody else knows about. That sin that keeps attacking and attacking and attacking, keeps on latching on to you every time you turn around. That one sin that it's just hard to get rid of, it's hard to get off of it. You're sitting there and all of a sudden, what am I doing here? Why am I here again? Why am I at this place again? Why am I stuck in this addiction again? Why am I stuck with him again? Why am I stuck with her again? Why am I stuck with this situation again? Why do I keep going back to this?
Come on.
What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Have you ever asked yourself, what am I doing here?
Yes.
And you got to the point where you're sick of playing the games, you're sick and tired of playing all this. What am I doing here?
That's it.
Why? Why do I keep going back to this? How did I get here? God said, "What are you doing, Elijah?" "Well, God, I've been serving you. God, I've been doing this and I've been doing that." I'm not talking to the Christians that got everything set. I'm not talking to y'all right now. I'm talking to the ones that it costs you something to have Christianity.
Come on.
I'm talking to the ones that it costs something every time you turn around and you wake up in the morning and just decide to pray.
Come on.
Amen.
I'm talking to the ones that have sat here and asked for forgiveness and forgiveness and forgiveness. God, forgive me for what I've done. I'm talking to them. I'm not sitting here trying to be a Pharisee and a tax collector. Oh, God, don't let me be like this man. Let me be like the tax collector that sits here and says, "God, forgive me."
That's right.
What am I doing here? God said, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Gabe, can you throw up verse 11 again? And the Lord said, "Go out and stand on that mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by." Next part. Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire. And I want you guys to get this. The Lord was not in the fire, but after the fire came a gentle whisper. That still small voice. Every one of us has gone through a situation. And you can say you have it all you want, but you know you're lying. You've gone through something and God has whispered in your ear. And you hear it through the commotion of your own mind and everything else. You hear it through that commotion. What are you doing? What are you doing? You hear that still small voice telling you the right way to go. He was the voice of comfort. And God told him to go back. God's not wanting you to run to your life or from your life, but to your life. God's wanting you to go back and confront that situation. You need to go back in your heart and let it go. I'm trying to be careful how I word this, but I'm just going to lay this out here. I was deeply wounded. And when I say that, it shook me to the core of my values. It shook me to the core of my beliefs. Because honest to God, I about gave up on God. I was literally at the point where I said, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing church. I'm not doing ministry. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm done. How can someone sit here and do this to me? And all I was doing was building up more rage and more anger. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Church hurts.
That's right, come on.
Church hurt sucks. Yes, I know I shouldn't say that from the pulpit, but I'm going to. Because it does. It hurts. Because when you get hurt in church, this is where we're vulnerable at. Think about this. You come up here and you lay stuff down. You open yourself up and lay all this junk down. That's why when someone hurts you or attacks you or says something wrong to you, it hits you to the core.
Come on.
It hurts. But the only person it's affecting is you.
Amen.
It don't mess with nobody else. That's why that deep wound that I have, I'm sitting here staring at it, and every time somebody gets around me, hold on now. We can get close, but we can only get so close because I remember what happened last time.
That's right.
Oh, I've been divorced. I don't want to do with this again. I don't want to go through the same situation. She treated me wrong. He treated me wrong. He did this and she did this. And you get remarried and there's still a wall there. You still have that wall set up. You can only go this far. I'm not taking it no more. We've got to get to the point where we can forgive. We've got to get to the point where we can let go. And today, I posted something the other day and it says, if you're set out for revenge, dig 2 graves.
Yep.
That's right. That's right.
We can't have that mentality, I'm going to get them back. The Bible, in the Moses' covenant, it was eye for an eye. But under Jesus' covenant, it's turn the other cheek. Love one another. Love is the only way to beat this stuff.
Come on.
So yes, I know I'm dragging this a little bit, but I want you guys to understand. We can't get past certain hurdles. We can't put down walls and everything else until we let it go.
Amen.
Until we forgive.